All right, we should be live.
All right, welcome everybody. I'll call this meeting to order. Before we go into the agenda, if I can get you entertained, looking at the minutes from the March meeting. Those were sent out, so I could entertain a motion to approve. So moved. Second. Anyone opposed? And we'll accept the minutes from March as presented. Jeff and Diane both read it today. Next item on the agenda, follow directly down. Mike, if you'll do your reports before we do that, I know we have some visitors with us.
Yes,
So kind of introduce them.
VIPs right here. Real good folks. We all know Andrew, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'll let you introduce Sonia.
So Sonia is newly hired on RSNH as another senior project. Mike knows Sonia very, very well from her time working with him at AGGAA, the Association of Georgia General Aviation Airports.
Pretty good.
So I do, thanks. But she has a ton of experience with GA airports here in the state. So she has, I don't know, how many years do you have here in the state if you're?
18.
There we go. And so,
Yeah.
we're very, very excited to have her on our team. She knows way more about GDOT and funding than airports here in Georgia than I do. So great asset, and it's only going to help us as we continue to do work here at Athens.
Yeah. Jim Mario, why don't you come to the table here, Jim Mario? Come on, man.
Take up all the space.
So this, I don't know if you've met Jim. We've met, what's his name?
Frank.
Frank, right. With Michael Baker. He's been here before. But we have two engineers consultants. One's for the architect and the civil engineering, and then the planning. So Michael Baker's our planning. Of course, Jim, I've known Jim for a long time too, Jim DeGay. And then this fellow over here, his name is Mario Evans. And he was the airport manager at PDK for, man, how long?
25.
Yeah, long time.
Long time.
So he just resigned, I don't know, a couple of months ago, I think. And he's working now with Michael Baker.
Mhm.
So, but anyway, all these folks are just good friends. But anyway, so Jim DeGay and Mario Evans, with Michael Baker.
Very good.
Appreciate y'all having us today. Yeah, sure. Just stopping in.
And then we do have Thompson Brothers.
How are you?
Jim?
Not bad. How are you?
Good.
Jim Thompson with the Athens Banner here, and I'll be starting to cover you guys a little bit more heavily than maybe we've done so in the past. I've covered you guys back when I was with the Banner Herald full-time several years ago. So
Good to have you here.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate your recent articles,
Yeah.
Yeah.
call outs, and we'll look forward to more. We'll try not to say anything today to give you reason to write anything. I was with a hospital for a number of years, and Jim covered that, so it was always my mantra, don't say anything good.
Don't pay attention to anything Mr. Cook said.
All right, very good. Welcome, everybody, and now we'll go forward. Mike, would you start us off with the manager reports, please?
All right, thank you, sir. First of all, let's look at our financials. Had another really good month in March. The revenue minus expenses, we made $81,000, almost $82,000. Our year-to-date right now is at $749,000 in the positive. We were very close in our monthly projections with our actual as far as avgas sales. We exceeded sales and actual for Jet A. The expenses for the month, very close. I think we just got lucky on that one, maybe. That we got so close, but it's $382 in a variance. Go back up to the airport fees under revenue. We are over that, budget. Again, because it was a lot of basketball that was going on, so we had a lot of, handling fees, ramp fees, and, landing fees. So with the bigger jets. So that was good. Now, April, let's see, March, April, just kind of looking into this, into April's, we're doing still pretty good with charters. So I think we'll still have a pretty good month, this month for charter. We got baseball, softball, a lot of things still flying, even though, the basketball season is over with. Few things on the expense side that we're a little over. In airport administration, we were over by almost $12,000. And what that amounted to was meat and hunt. When we went to Scottsdale to talk to the airlines, meet and hunt. It also redid our presentations in our market study. That was in the amount of $7,000. And then we had an outside attorney look at our lease, our ground lease. It was very old, wanted to revamp it. Plus, we wanted to make sure, kind of had the blessings of, our legal team with Athens-Clarke County as we move forward. So that as we use it and send it to them each time, they'll be familiar with it and they'll be good with it from now on, unless they make any changes to it. So that was a part of the 12,000. And then airport services, it was about 10,000. We had contract labor of about 8,400. What we do when we hire people, we put them under contract agreement, contract labor, and we use them a lot for the charters, UGA, seasonal charters and that kind of thing. Normally, when they're around, not for too long, but when they're around, we'll go ahead and, feel comfortable with them. We'll go ahead and put them on ACC payroll and eliminate that cost because it does get costly, with contract labor. So we try not to keep them on contract labor very long. But it's high because we did use the heck out of them with the basketball charters. And then the airport maintenance, we had ground power unit repair that was around $13,000. And so that created a large expense in that airport maintenance. Let's see. In March, we did, as far as avgas, about 8,100 gallons. Jet A, we did 53,000. And our operations were 3,200. Comparing, it's kind of low comparing to the other months we've had. The previous month, February, we had 3,700 operations, but March we had 32, a little over 32. So all in all, we made money. It was a good month, and so I was happy with it. The expenses, I'm not happy with that, but you do have to spend some money sometimes. Any questions on the financials? So getting into capital improvements, we got several projects that are going on right now. The taxiway alpha project, which I know you guys get tired of me talking about, and I'm getting tired of talking about it too. But we are starting that next week, and it'll probably go 4 to 5 months, I guess, 4.5 months, something like that. Andrew and I have been talking with the contractor. The equipment's going to be mobilized next week. we have to get, some of those folks in driver's training. And, that's just a part of our FAA, requirement. And so they'll be in driver's training Tuesday morning, I think it was, Monday morning. I think it might have been Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. And, so we'll get all of that out of the way and then they'll get started. The self-serve unit's in and, everything is not working yet because we have to have Georgia Power connected. So they say they'll be here. Well, first of all, they came and went, you know, with foremen and, you know, supervisors and all sorts of stuff. And, they decided on what was the best route to go. I think the cable that's currently in the duct is a little more high voltage than what we really need. So they're gonna take that one out and replace it with another one. And that's gonna be next week. And so it's probably gonna be about 2.5 weeks before we get it all connected. Good thing is, it's not gonna cost us anything. You know, it's gonna be money in our pocket, money in Georgia Power's pocket. So, it'll be beneficial to them. Had some concern. Sir, you know that where the unit is now, they were afraid that traffic that would be coming into the self-serve would impede on their taxiway in and out of their location, and it's AMP. And so it was justifiable. So we went over there, Davin and I, and we talked to them about it. And basically, I just told them that, I don't know if I sent you an email, but I meant to. I basically told them that, you know, there wouldn't be any traffic. We'd be taking away 2 of those tie downs, which really weren't used a whole lot anyway. And we got plenty of other tie downs in that area that they can go to. But we'll do away with 2 tie downs. And then also we looked at where there used to be, I guess, taxiway markings going in and out of that area. So we'll go ahead and put some taxiway markings right there so that they have, just identifiable, you know, into that area. And, I really don't see any issue with it. And I say that because, when I was in Floyd County, I was very familiar with a self-serve. It was very close to our our GA terminal. And that's where we parked all of the aircraft, you know, when they came in. And that self-serve is very close, but with past history that I've been through, I feel like it's gonna work just fine. And if it doesn't, we'll tweak it. But the way it is, the way we want to do it, I think that it'll work just fine.
Well, any of these other construction projects, could
Yeah.
be getting that.
Yeah, most definitely. The control tower, I've got a meeting next week with the FAA here. And I think it's gonna be a bunch of their engineers and, it's really we're gonna talk about the siting again, just to make sure that where it is good. I think we're gonna talk about logistics, surrounding infrastructure, utilities, that kind of thing. Possibly, I'm gonna try to get a better timeline out of them, as to, you know, what we're looking at. But last I heard, it was about 1.5 years to 2, I think, something like that. But that might change. So I'll let you know if I hear anything different.
Mike, is the location roughly, how far beyond the pavement of the parking lot is it? Do you know roughly?
So it's pretty much where that hill is in here.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of this side, but right on that hill.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, very close.
I'll be on the page side.
Yes, on the unpaid side, yes. And they wanted so much land. Well, I told them they couldn't have that much land. So they wanted enough land to put parking lots and, you know, of their own. And so what we reduced it to, basically, they'll be using the existing parking lot we have. And right now, all they have is like 5, we can give them 5 spots anyway right now. And so, I think it's 5 or 6, but I think it's 5. So, I mean, it won't really be that much more, but have you seen these new designs? I know you have. They're pretty cool and I know some of you have too. You know, it does take up some space, but it's still nothing that's gonna be, out there taking up all of our space.
That man knows 24/7.
Not this one here. This one's 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Yeah. But it's gonna be a little taller, square footage is gonna be a little bit bigger. We'll have a, elevator. So it'd be nice. Let's see, so currently have, an agenda item in with, the mayor and commission. On the two projects. One's a parking lot, automobile parking lot design. And the second one is taxiway Bravo design. The way the mayor and commission like to do it is they like to have, let's see, the, concept approval, which that's a part of this agenda item. So there'll be a concept approval of the project, and then also design approval for RSNH to do the design on it. There is no funding right now for it, but I've been told, and I feel like let's just go ahead and get design done. It's a state project. We'll have to put the bill for the design anyway. So and we've got the money to do it. One will be out of a T-Splost fund that we have. And one will be out of a Splost fund, that project that is. So I did have to go in front of the Splost Citizens Oversight Committee and the T-Splost Oversight Citizens Committee, which I did that a couple weeks ago. And both committees were in agreement that it did fit the concept that's was in the Splost and T-Splost. So they approved that. So we got that done. So now they're just waiting on the mayor commission to vote at the next meeting in May. And then we move forward with that. Let's see. Working on hangar project. So as you know, that hangar we have out here is falling apart. Doors are falling off, I mean, left and right. And I basically just want to tear that thing down, as I mentioned in previous meetings. So I am going to work with finance to find sources, funding sources on that front. Now, we did get this, and I think I sent it to you, but Colette sent this, the GDOT hangar inventory and demand analysis, and I emailed it to all of you this afternoon. But here's a little fact sheet. Go ahead and take one, just pass it around. Fact sheet for GDOT, but you also have this as well in that email that I sent you. But what this is basically just GDOT's analysis of how many hangars are out there in the state. What kind of waiting list do these airports have on their airports, and then there was where I saw it. I think it was in this one. Yeah, it has here. This is on the executive summary. Also sent that to you as well. Doesn't have a page number, but it says considerations for hangar funding. Okay, state loan programs. So a state loan program for hangar development is not currently available in Georgia. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's why they did this, right? To see if maybe something like that would be feasible. Where the state would have a state loan program and to see exactly, what they were looking at as far as hangars out there in the state. And then it also says state grant programs. A state grant program for hangar development is not currently available in Georgia. Okay, so that's out. And local funding, we know that's a source. Local bonds, we know that's a source. Local SPLOST and T-SPLOST, we know that's a source, but has to be authorized by the county board of commissioners and requires a voter referendum. or private sector. So those are the options as far as funding. And what I'm looking at is basically, since there isn't really a state loan program yet, and I really need a hangar bill, I'm looking at local bonds or maybe local funding, but I got to get with the finance folks and find out exactly, what the best avenue is to go. I know that in the past, this is before I got here, when we built hangars, I want to say they got just local financing.
So I was gonna say with the bonds, there might be some restrictions on what you
Yeah.
can, what and how you can rent them too. I don't know that.
Could be, I'm not familiar with that, but yeah, you might be right about that. So, yeah, that's all stuff I'll find out and I'll bring it back to you all. We can discuss that more.
Was the information that was sent to GDOT, is that what we did the inventory
Yes,
4 or 5 months ago?
yes, yeah, that's it. Yeah. That is it. And that's all I have, sir. As far as marketing and outreach, I'll let Davin talk about that. We have had some tours going on.
Yeah, we've had a lot of elementary school kids come in, so we had about 100 kids from Timothy Road Elementary. So great thanks to Alton Brent, our firefighter, and to Sean Carey, who's one of our part-time folks, for really arranging that and working with that. We also had a class from Rocky Branch Elementary that came this week. So about, I think it's around 15 kids. And we've got some more tours lined up. So we are definitely sharing the airport with our community, and that's really exciting. So, because we know that, there's a real interest in what's going on at the airport, and there's a need for future employees of airports. So,
Did you say 100 from Timothy Road?
yes,
100 kids.
100 kids.
Any impression about, I know before you mentioned a few things that you got some questions or interest, what the kids were interested in particular?
I wish I could tell you, I was at a very exciting meeting with the planning department. So unfortunately, did not get to participate in that. Haven't got any reports back on,
Okay,
but they normally are exceedingly inquisitive, about all sorts of things,
yeah.
especially a group that large.
So this is really kind of taken off with doing this. Is this are you working with one contact person or each of the schools, or who's kind of initiating how that?
Sean Carey, who's our part-time person, she's really been the person that's kind of, led the charge on this and has done a great job with it. And I think it's also, word of mouth. I think, once one teacher
Yeah,
goes through it, she talks to another teacher.
Yeah, this is the time when all of them are looking for field trips. My grandkids, one of them has 3 field trips, the other one says he has 4 field trips. I'm like, "Man, where do you have time for all this? It's good though. I remember those days. There's some of these field trips. But I'm glad to see it because I thank Davin and Sean and everybody for doing them because, and Alton too. Because this is the only way they get to see an airport, It's not like the days when we could just walk out and touch these things, but. I do have one other thing as far as outreach activities. We had, last Tuesday, we had the community-wide mass casualty exercise. And it went really well. It started about 9. That's when the tower got the call that the aircraft was down. They gave the location. It was over 911 and our 800 megahertz radio, and there were people staged. We also had like 40 volunteers, that were dressed up with tattered clothes and makeup and whatnot, and they were out at the scene. Fire department, police, UGA police, bomb squad, hazmat, Red Cross, EMA, EMS, all the agencies, the hospitals, they were here. And so I called Robert up in Brunswick, I said, what do you guys do as far as, you have an aircraft that just kind of sits there? And he said, no, we use a bus, and So I told Alton, because we were in a quandary, we didn't know what to use. What do you use? Where do you get these airplanes? Anyway, so we got a bus. We bought a bus. So we own a bus, but it's a old jalopy, really. It doesn't run. We have to push it or pull it with a tractor. But it serves the purpose. And we put it on the runway, and we had a smoke machine, that we got to. So, but anyway, I was hoping Alton could come and explain that to you. He's in the doctor's office right now. Nothing serious, just a routine thing. But anyway, so he did a great job. And I gotta say that, Alton, and all the others that were involved, I mean, there was probably 100 folks that were involved, that did such a great job in planning this and, making it all happen. So, I mean, we can be real proud of the folks that we have here, from everybody, police, the UGA and the hospitals. Once we were kind of done with our thing here, they bused those folks, the patients injured, to the hospitals. Then the area hospitals, took it from there, and they had signs on them. If you've been through that, but they have signs on them as to what's wrong with them and, that kind of thing. So they kind of did triage and whatnot, but it was really, really good. I've been through about 4 of these, including this one. And, I was really impressed with this, how well it was, but number one, attended, and number two, how well it was really just organized.
Great. Very good. Anything else under your reports, or you want to wait till a little bit later and?
On the air service?
Yeah.
I'll wait on that.
Okay. All right. I don't think we have any old business or new. I know Diane has moved her report on the corridor to June, or I'm sorry, the May meeting, so we'll hear that. All right, understanding committees, it is time for our quarterly review of the strategic plan. Keith, I know you sent some information to Davin and it was sent out, so I'll turn it over to you.
All right, so this is our quarterly review of how we stand versus our strategic plans and actions and assignments and things like that versus the airport strategic plan for the year. And a lot of these support the city's plans where applicable for the year. So, and I'd encourage anybody to give input, ask questions as we go along the way as usual. And I'll try not to, see, some of these are gonna fall under, as far as updates, capital projects, Mike, that you just, went through, so we'll try to just tie that down.
Okay.
And as usual, I kind of preview this with, Mike and Davin a couple of weeks ago, before we have this, just to see any updates. So anyway, so, the first one, goal number 1, which is basically, starting out with capital improvement, projects. Strategy 1-1, repave and improve one-way runway 220, the taxiways and terminal apron. Mike, Davin, you want to give any particular updates other than we already talked about taxiway A just earlier. Taxiway Alpha will take about 4 to 5 months.
Yeah.
So we've got that down as December 24. Just leave that
Yeah.
target in there.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, oh, that's good.
We didn't talk earlier about the next one, 112, design additional terminal apron. Still looking at the same timing, I think, on that.
Yeah, for now. Yeah, that's good stuff.
113 is rehabilitate and overlay runway 220. That's already been completed. 114 is rehabilitate and overlay taxiway B, which you talked about, taxiway Bravo coming up for review.
Yeah, well, the design on that, and then we got a good construction time. Yeah.
Strategy 1-2, clear obstructions and install airport perimeter fencing. The first part of that, 121 there, clear the ROFA area has been completed already. And the fencing, you've got, what do you say, phase 1 is all complete. Phase 2, looking to complete the rest of the fencing around the entire airport by February next year.
Yeah, that's still a good, I would say keep that. Yeah, we could change it, but We do have some extra money from 220 project that we had a supplemental agreement done with GDOT and approved by mayor and commission to change the line item where we can use that money to, put in more fencing on 220. And so I've got a, contractor, and purchasing said we're good to go on using that contractor. And this is not phase two. This is like runway 220 project still, but fencing. And, but that we can use that contractor, but I have to get mayor and commission approval. So I plan on, doing an agenda item for that. And all this came about, after we met. I plan on doing an agenda item for that probably in the next couple of weeks, and I'll probably try to get it approved in August. For their voting meeting in August. And then the contractor could get started after that.
Okay.
And so that would pretty much, at the Lowe's, that tree line down there where we stopped the phase one project. And then coming north, to where, before it cuts over, but going up that whole tree line there, it'll get all of that. And so then really, I think pretty much all that will be fenced except for around the army base and down the quarry. Maybe around a little bit, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so what you're saying is we'll get this through from tying in down here up to this
Yeah.
point in here where you got the new fence as part of the runway 27 extension.
Right.
And then, the only things that we're gonna have left is what's down in here to get back to the
Yeah,
stockpile site.
yeah, and then the T
Oh, yeah.
there. Kind of more to your left, right?
Oh, in this area in here.
So the part there, let's see, the army station to the left there in the curve, that's
Yeah, all of that will have to be done.
still,
Still
okay,
has to be done, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Cause that's still that farm fence. So,
But they've
Yeah.
got their own fence around the reserve.
well, they have fence around
Right.
theirs, yeah, but they're kind of on the other side of that road.
Yeah, I know that area along the road there is where there's some erosion underneath,
Yeah.
right, some gaps in there, pretty large.
Oh, on Lion Road?
Yeah, between the airport property and the base.
Yes,
What
yes, you're right,
talking about.
yes.
Got some
There is.
gaps in there, some erosion.
There is, so yeah, that'd have to be worked on, yep. And trees and all that have to be cleared off, yeah. But so if you think about it, the airport, once we get that, and that's a bad section right there as far as deer.
Yes.
Real bad, yeah, because you got all that woods there, so if we can at least get that properly fenced, that'd be nice.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be good use of that.
Yeah. Coyote and deer, they all come from, a lot of them come from that
Let's see, next one, strategy 1.3 is increased parking capacity, a new parking lot. Talk briefly about that, Mike. You've got, that's on the agenda with the city for approval for dollars and all of that, hoping to design by end of this year.
area. Yeah, how long will that take, design?
Well, for the parking lot,
Yeah.
we should be done in fall sometime.
Okay.
So, we get that going, we should be done, have it ready, with bids in fall.
And then the last one of capital area is construct transient corporate hangar. So our initiative there is, design the hangar. Want to try to get that done next year.
So, with all these ever moving parts with the, control tower, since they're gonna be moving the control tower, and they'll tear down the old one, they'll do that. I'd like to put the transit hangar there. So I guess it just depends on when that project, when they get that control tower down. And also, the other thing is this, although we had, the 5 some odd million in SPOS, I think 2020 or 2018, anyway, we had like 5 something million. We've used some of it, but the mayor commission have kind of spaced our money out some. And so we've used a lot of our not a lot of our money. We've used some of what was allocated to us so far, on our, match, with different projects that we've already done, like the 220 or the, not Texas Alpha, but, the ROFA and that kind of thing. So the next allocation we get, I think is gonna be 2026. I mean, we still have a little bit in there to play with, but our real big one is gonna be like, I wanna say 1.2 million in 2026. That's gonna be available, maybe 2 million. I have to look back, but it'll be available in 2026 for us to use. Which would be perfect, for the Bravo. You know, I think at that time, hopefully we'll get some Bravo money. And we can pull that in for our match. So that'll be a state project, so that'd be 25% we have to come up with. And so, I think it'll all work out, but with all that said, the transient hangar was a part of that money in the SPOS. And I think if we can, if when they take that down, will probably be the right time and we'll have that money available in SPOS that we can use to build that hangar. Of
Okay.
course, you know, these prices are going up all the time,
Yeah.
so, I mean, you know, we might have to supplement it with SPOS and maybe some funding, you know, some loan or something, but.
Since this building, this depends on evacuating the space of the current tower, do you see that, is it still reasonable would we have to wait till that happens to even design it, or could
We could
design happen beforehand? Okay.
And one of the things we talked about too, you know, right now, our electrical vault is in that area. We were talking about possibly incorporating this, you know, this building with, under roof, a new electrical vault, tear down that one. And because it's so old, it's really old. And then kind of incorporating the transit hangar with a new area in there, I guess, for electrical wall capacity, right?
Yeah, that's something that we can definitely talk about, is how we separate that space.
Yeah, I know, that's,
It need to be isolated and contained, but you might be able to save some money by putting it, like you said, putting it under the same roof.
okay,
So I'll talk to our electrical guy,
all
Rob.
right.
So that would be something, we can talk about this more, but knowing what the timeline is for when the tower is gonna move. is really-
Yeah, that's the key. Yeah, I'll try to pin them down when I meet next week, trying to really get a good idea, you know, on that. I don't know if they know, but if they do, I'll find out. I'm sorry.
So, no, that's good. Goal 2 is regarding passenger service and air cargo service. So strategy 2.1 is recruit and establish scheduled air service with at least 10,000 annual passengers, so forth. Mike, I don't want to take your thunder away from your report on air services.
Well, I can do it now.
You want to go ahead and especially, and it kind of ties in with any
Yeah.
updates with this?
Absolutely. So as you all know, we made that trip out, as I reported last time. My next step really, is now just to meet with them, to meet with American. They're the ones, and that's why I'm concentrating on, I guess, American so much, is because they're the ones that supported our SCASD grant. And when we do talk to them, you know, I know the pilot shortage is a big deal. With everybody we talked to when we were at the conference, all the airlines, when they did the state of airline address, you know, it was, everybody was there, and that's what they talked about, was just the pilot shortage and the maintenance shortage, and you know, trying to build up their existing routes and then adding more, you know, when they can. But I think it's getting to the point where now's the time to talk to them, because when they do get to the point where they are able to service more cities, that we want to be there. We want them to know we're ready, what we have to offer. And so I want to bring, and I've discussed this before, but I just have to contact them. I did contact Mead and Hunt, you know, Doug, and I asked them to go ahead and contact American. Let's see, you know, if we can set up a time sometime in the fall. And then what I'd like to do, I'd like to get some of the local leaders, you know, the Chamber, Economic Development, and invite them to go with us as well. And then just let them know, that we're here, we're open for business and we want them to come. So,
You talked to me about bringing a movie studio with you too.
yeah, because, they had contacted me as well. There's a big interest in passenger service here, and our market study shows that, it's that it could be successful. Our containment area is very conservative. It's not overinflated. It shows that, just a small percentage, of ridership could make an airline money. So, it's just, again, every time I talk to the airlines about it, they understand the numbers. They understand that it could work and would work. It's just that the pilot shortage has always been an issue right now. I mean, I honestly believe hadn't been for the pandemic, we'd have an airline right now. But then, now, with the retirement of all the pilots, that had retired, and then the folks that were in the regional side that moved up, it left a big void in the regional market. So, yeah, they're working that out, and I feel like, the next year or two, I feel like hopefully we can get something going.
Is the pilot shortage getting any better?
Yeah, I think it is, to the degree that I know that folks that I know that are, in training, they're talking about going to work soon. But then, then you have the right seat, then you have to move to the left seat. And so I don't know how many people are actually in the left seat,
That's-
already.
That's the issue right now is the left seat. They've got enough right seat pilots, but left seat captains, I mean, that's the issue.
Yeah, and then there's people retiring. I know several that are retiring right now, out of the right seat. So then who's there to train the left seat folks, to get them up to speed? So, yeah, it's a quandary, but anyway, I feel like it'll all work itself out. Safely. I know that these airlines aren't gonna just put somebody in a seat, just to make it work. And that's why we're in this position, because they're not gonna do that, but yeah, they're gonna be sure they're safe first, but it's just gonna take a little bit of time. But, yeah, so that's my next step, and hopefully a fall meeting, with them, in person.
Strategy 2.2 is regarding charter services and also cargo. Mike, I don't know if you have anything about the first one there, 221, increase in enplanements by, that's of course just a result number. But as far as cargo service, anything, that's just our efforts to look at options for that.
Yeah, I haven't been working on anything on cargo.
Yeah.
Front and all.
Okay.
Lately.
Then goal 3 is general, enhancing and expanding the general aviation experience, better serve customers and so forth. Strategy 3.1, identifying facilities, product services to retain customers and increase volume. With the first initiative, 3.1, begin operations of self-service gas. Mike, you mentioned that earlier, so we're getting real close. It's late. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, we're getting real close. Yeah.
Okay, then 3.1.2 is prepare and issue an RFI for a destination restaurant that's going to be pending commercial service. Strategy 3.2 is assess and study space at the airport here. This is all regarding hangars. So initiative 3.2.1 is design and build hangars to meet demand. We're hoping to be able to design this year and build next year. Still got on track.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
Yep. Next one is 3.2.2, develop plans for the east side hangar area, which is over kind of general area where the self-service fuel is where you're looking at.
That's correct.
Potential of additional hangars there. So, anything else on hangars, Mike, right off of, so.
No, nothing else.
Okay. Goal 4 is, inform and connect with the community, businesses, customers to provide a greater understanding of the airport's role in the community and build goodwill. So our strategy 4.1 is to implement strategies for marketing, community outreach and engagement. The first one there, 4.1.1, is publish an annual report. I think, Davin, we talked about that when we met a couple of weeks ago. We're shooting for May, or you are, to get that completed. That was a lot to do, but I think you felt pretty confident with May. And then, 4.1.2, develop content management plans for quarterly newsletter, social media, that's kind of ongoing efforts, anything with that one. Also, the one below it there, 4.1.3, pursue local partnerships with local agencies, community groups. Those two, any particular updates y'all want to give?
I will say this, periodically I would send out an email to all of the tenants and stakeholders and, just kind of let them know what's going on, as far as projects and things. But I'm gonna be doing it a little bit more often like I did before when we had the Taxway Alpha project moving, and other projects as well. But I'll be sending out an email to all of the tenants and stakeholders and letting them know, where we stand on the project, probably every 2 weeks. Maybe even more depending on the closures, just to let them know that, because there's gonna be several closures and some of them be
Yeah,
major
Some
too.
of them are significant.
Yeah, and so we really, I really want everybody to know what's going on and not just be surprised when they taxi out and not know where to go. So, I'll be doing that more often. I'll put it that way, probably 2 weeks at least, maybe more.
So the next one is, promote the airport's community engagement, hosting airport aviation events. I know one there has been, work or ideas on the air show. I know we've got limitations, and all that. Any news with,
I haven't gotten with Diane. We probably need to have another meeting though, and discuss that, but there's a lot of good things we can be doing. I know we can't have an air show, like we did in Rome. It's just not feasible because there's just too much stuff around, for the box, to have a big box. So, but you can have, PDK, man, they had a very good show.
Got one coming up next week.
Yeah, yeah. And so something like that would work just fine here, but I'll get with Diane and the committee and we'll discuss that some more, as well.
okay. Let's see, any news regarding a trail that could be more Diane, I don't know.
You mean around the airport?
Yes.
Yeah, no, there's really no money right now that I've seen that's available. In the previous SPOS, I had put in there, for the SPOS to, help pay for a trail, a bike and pedestrian trail around the new fence we put in. But it was taken out of the SPOS, list. So it didn't go through and so we really don't have any funding for it. Maybe one day we'll have some extra money. We can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
And have a good, bike or pedestrian walk around the fence line.
Then the last one there, aviation training, educational partnerships with local education entities. And Devin, you gave a good update earlier with engaging, local, school students and all that. Anything else, that one of y'all, Mike, or anything with, I know we had some talks with Athens-Tech at one point, but is there anything else that you feel like we, should be doing regarding this?
Nothing at this point. I
Okay.
think we do need to get together maybe and have a meeting internally and talk a little bit. At one point in time, we talked to Athens Tech. We were just kind of on the cusp of talking, with the local high school, I think the high school level would be good to talk with. The pandemic and COVID kind of kept us away from all of that for a while. But I think, of course, all that's changed. And so I think now would probably be a good time to talk to the high school level again.
Then, let's see, 5 is a pretty easy one there. It's achieve and maintain financial goals and self-sufficiency, which you're definitely doing that. Looks like you're headed for a big number for this year. As far as the airport revenue minus costs, cash flow wise. But let's see, the first one there is study the rates and fees of similar airports to understand the value of airport resources. Devin, I think when we were talking, you were kind of taking that one on to do as a study there. Any updates you want to talk about?
Yeah, just need to find some time to focus on the numbers that Chase Copeland, one of our part-timers, has gotten.
Oh, okay.
And then also the hangar study also, that GDOT just released, which I have not read the whole thing in detail, and I need to focus on that as well. But they were, one of the things that they mentioned at the conference we had last week was that we've got to be careful about selling ourselves too short as far as hangar rent is concerned. I mean, I think we're in good line, but we need to take a look at, what those numbers look like and make sure that we're in line with what others in the state of Georgia are doing. So,
Okay. Do you want to, I mean, since we've got the numbers there, I know you've got the annual report and everything. Do you want to shoot for a particular target to kind of just have an agenda item on one of our authority meetings to review? Is that kind of where you were going, David?
yeah, I think that would be a good idea. I mean, it might be August or September.
Okay.
I think,
All right. Let's see, of course, we monitor expenses and review and like all that, every, month. And you do it daily. Let's see, goal 6 is, this is one basically strictly from the city's goals, pretty much as far as create a employee development culture to improve existing competencies and skills. And Mike, I think what we've got there, I think you have maybe a couple of updates there. These are mostly specific technical skills. The airport requires a number of things. FAA has requirements and also some others. So between those two, any quick updates you want to give? I think you had-
Alton, yeah, Alton Brent, our firefighter, he continues to train, our, operations folks on ARC, and keeps that certification moving. I did mention the mass casualty exercise. That was a good event, as far as, competencies. All of them were involved in that. And then, the conferences that we've been going to as well. Russ, our operations supervisor, he continues to train the line, our operations folks, operation technicians on the fueling and the regulations and all this and in that. So he's keeping them up to speed on all the regulations that are changing.
Okay,
The DOD, Department of Defense, I think we've got a inspection coming up. I gotta get with Russ. I did get an email on that, but, all of our line is, up to speed on all of that. The Department of Defense contract as well, and the regulations. There's a few changes, but, they're aware of them.
okay, sounds good. That's it for the review this time. Anybody, any questions, anything else we missed?
So our next one will be set for July.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
July. So, and also, Mike, with that, with the new year coming up, what is there gonna be, what do you expect as far as a review updates for strategic plan for next year? You think will it be probably largely as a continuation, or do we need to, what's the city's plan process?
Yeah, it's a continuation. Yeah, it'll be a continuation.
Okay,
This is
That's the way
based
that-
on their 23 through 25
Okay, yeah, that is right,
So
right.
one more year.
Okay,
But to that point, we probably need to think about, is that'll be a 5, 6, 7, 8 month process.
It would be, absolutely.
Figure out what they want to do with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if we needed an item for unleaded fuel service possibly in the future. No, there's an approved unleaded fuel now,
okay.
approved by the feds. It doesn't have a SDM certification.
Makes it.
GAMI.
It's gaming
It's
formula.
it's GAMI's, fuel, but
It's being produced by a refinery. They supposedly have 1 million gallons in inventory.
Gammy, somebody's grandmother's making?
yeah,
Yeah.
yours, you know that? And apple pie. What does GAMI stand for?
I used to know too. I don't remember.
The
I know there's.
But I don't. Yeah.
General Aviation Modifications, something, or, they're an SEC company. But they have a blanket approval, on everything that currently runs 100 low lead.
Yeah, SDC.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But I don't know the availability. They were rolling it out in California, I understood, and
It's not, there's not a distributor that's carrying it in California yet, because as soon as it is, a lot of those airports, it's mandated that when it's available, they have to provide.
oh,
And they have to remove 100 low lead.
they have to remove it.
Oh, wow.
And it's fully miscible. So you could have a few gallons in your tank and in the storage.
The problem is the ASTM certification not being. So,
Yeah, I think we can look at that for sure. We'll discuss them.
at some point, 100 low lead, it will be. The EPA wants it going sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Any other questions, Keith?
No, that's it.
Keith, once again, thank you for
Thank you.
doing that. All right, air service or anything from the operating stuff?
No,
Mike, air service development, marketing, I know we've covered some of it, but anything?
Yeah, that's
more you
pretty
wanna-
much what I was gonna cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything from our guests that are with us?
No, sir.
All right. Jim, any questions?
I'll handle them after you.
Very good.
You guys, I know some of you probably want to get home.
That's right. All right, thank you very much.
Folks, as nice as that.
Yeah, we need to hold it for a minute for everybody to run out of the room. Thank you everybody for being. Thanks everybody for being with us today. Dan and Mike, thanks for putting all this together. And our next meeting is scheduled for May 28th. That's the Tuesday after Memorial Day, if I remember the dates correctly. So a lot will happen between now and then. Maybe I'm holding my wife's hand as our youngest graduates from high school a week before.
oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. But
Yeah, well.
very good. Well, if I hear nobody disagreeing, we will stand adjourned. Thank you. Great. Great
Thanks,
week.
everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm glad you guys
Keith,
came.
maybe I'll run into you.
Yeah, good meeting.
Did you say you're on at 1:30?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, and your bag? It's in my other car.
I was just really.
But I got it. I got everything in it.
Heard much as far as,